Hey, let's talk about Easter weekend. We actually had a visitor. Who was that?
I wrote an article on this young man at blueandgold.com today, and the opening sentence was, look, Easter weekend is really not a recruiting one for Notre Dame. Not only because kids, aren't usually traveling Easter weekend, but also because it's Notre Dame. But when a top safety target wants to visit campus, you have him on campus. So Marquise Gallegos from West Hills, California, Chaminade High School, nation's number 219 overall player, number 20 safety in the country. This was his second time to Notre Dame in total, his first being for the spring game a year ago. So it was good to get him on campus. Longtime target for the Fighting Irish. Chris O'Leary offered him, I want to say, for Pot of Gold Day last year. So it was a March offer of 2022. Notre Dame's been recruiting for a long time, got him back up on campus, and Gallegos told me that he is looking to schedule an official visit for Notre Dame and eyeing the weekend of June 9th. So, Notre Dame's at how many commitments now? Nine or so, and no safety commits yet. I would believe that O'Leary would be ecstatic if Gallegos is to join the fold for the Fighting Irish. Visit went really well. Chad Bowden, O'Leary spent a lot of time with them for that 2-day visit. Marcus Freeman was involved with Gallegos' visit as well. So yeah, I mean, Notre Dame battling USC, the kind of the considered the favorite with them being the local school, but he was at Michigan and Michigan State while in the Midwest too. So it's hard to kind of get a strong vibe on where exactly he's leaning. He's going to Oklahoma next weekend. So a lot of schools still in the mix for this 4-star safety, but Notre Dame, when it comes to decision time, will definitely be a finalist.
Okay, Cliff Kingsbury going to USC now as a coach. That's kind of an interesting development there for the Trojans. Now let's focus on this week. We're starting to wind down spring practice, the spring game, a little over a week away. Is this a big recruiting week in terms of visitors on campus?
Yeah, it's crazy how fast the spring ball has gone by that we're already nearing the end. So I had been talking about on your show and in my shows on our Blue and Gold YouTube channel that this was going to be a little bit of a quieter week, and it is compared to the 22nd, but it's a lot busier with these big time prospects than I thought. You got several, and we're just going to go through a few of them, Darren. Kennedy Urlacher, safety target for Notre Dame. The Irish offered him a few weeks ago. Not the highest ranked guy. He's a 3-star across the board, but someone who Notre Dame's pretty excited about. Did I mention who his father was in this little blurb? I mean, you can imagine who that is. 6'1", 180 pounds. He hits, like a truck. No surprise given his lineage. Listed as a safety, but a lot of folks think that he could end up playing linebacker. So Kennedy Urlacher, I projected him to land at Notre Dame with the prediction, I want to say a few weeks ago, Darren. Let's take a look. February 28th. So, a little over a month, I've been, in the belief that, Urlacher is trending towards Notre Dame. And his visit is this weekend. Notre Dame, I think, has only offered a couple offensive linemen in the 2025 class. And here's one from Wisconsin, Owen Strebig, number 7 offensive tackle in his recruiting cycle, number 75 overall player. 6'7", 295 pounds, and he's a sophomore. Even, let's just say those numbers are embellished a little bit, Darren. Let's just say he's 6'6", 285. Okay, 6'6", 285 as a sophomore. This kid's massive. Big Wisconsin offensive lineman. Hey, go get those guys from the Badgers if you can. Notre Dame hasn't won many recruiting battles against the Badgers in the state of Wisconsin. Of course, landed Billy Schrouth to end a 20-year drought for Notre Dame going into Wisconsin, which is absolutely crazy considering the distance. But that just kind of goes to show the fence that the Badgers built around Wisconsin. But Notre Dame looking to change that in the 2025 cycle. Visiting, I want to say, is it Wednesday? Darion Dupree from Chicago Mount Carmel, running back target, 3-star prospect. Someone who we got to see at Irish Invasion last year. He is going to be on campus midweek. His first time since picking up an offer from Notre Dame last week. I think that's good news for the Fighting Irish. Quincy Porter, a 4-star athlete from Bergen Catholic in Oradell, New Jersey, making his way to Notre Dame midweek as well. same high school that Notre Dame landed Steve Angeli from. I always say when Notre Dame offers a Bergen Catholic kid, they've got a pretty good shot to be a finalist for that player. And 6'3", 190 pounds. I mean, what are they feeding these kids? Sophomores. These guys are massive. A receiver target for Chancey Stuckey visiting this week, Darren.
Let's get to the 2024 recruiting cycle, and let's focus on the wide receiver position. The novice recruiting fan might say, Notre Dame cleaned up in the last class with all those wide receivers. How important is it to get more big names in this 24 class? So why don't you start there?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's actually saying that, Darren. I think the goal is to sign 25 5-stars, and anything less than that is unacceptable.
Of course.
I say that with a little bit of sarcasm, but I mean, let's be honest. So yeah, the 2023 receiver cycle is outstanding with Greathouse, Flores, James, and don't forget about Caleb Smith from Texas, someone who I know that the staff is really excited about and could be the sleeper for Notre Dame. But, looking at this 24 cycle, Darren, I wanted to touch on this. On Monday, I wrote an article, The Gold Standard, that I post every Monday. And this one was looking at kind of the latest in receiver recruiting. And it had some pretty good discussion on our blue and gold message board. And I gave kind of a projected 3-man class. I'm expecting it to be 3. This is always subject to change when you're talking about recruiting numbers at a position in a given cycle. But 3 is what I'm hearing right now. So I wanted to go through it because some Notre Dame fans were not very excited about this class, and I thought it was kind of ridiculous. So first, you have Kane Williams locked in. I mean, he's a borderline 5-star. I mean, on three's own rankings as in the number 29 player, number 7 receiver. The industry rankings basically the same. He's already committed, and he's 100% locked in.
Good friends with CJ Carr, it looks like.
Good friends with CJ Carr. They visited campus together Thursday. That connection's really good. You absolutely love to see that. So a borderline 5-star committed right away. Remember, as good as that great house, if we're just going to go off of recruiting rankings, Cam is ranked higher than those 3 or 4, I should say, that the Notre Dame signed. And it's not even close. Those guys were like, the top, fringe top 100 or into the 200s, nationally ranking wise at their position between like 20 and 35. Here's Cam at number 7, and it's early. He could rise, he could fall. You never know. But that's a darn good start. When we're talking about visiting soon, I didn't mention Jason Robinson because I knew we were going to talk about him now. He's visiting on, I think it's Monday or Tuesday of next week. I mean, he's a 4-star receiver Notre Dame's been after for a long time. Former USC commit, a dynamic slot receiver, a really exciting prospect, Darren. I think Notre Dame fans, you pop on Jason Robinson's tape. He's exciting. Attends high school at Long Beach Poly, which is considered a USC feeder school, but he decommitted from the Trojans already. He's still considering USC. Also really likes the Colorado Buffaloes with Deion Sanders, and Cal is another contender for Jason Robinson. But people I talked to, multiple sources like where Notre Dame's at here, and this visit this upcoming week could be big. So talking about Cam Williams, who I love on the outside, Jason Robinson as this slot receiver, and Isaiah Canyon, who we've talked about a good bit in recent months, 6'2.5", 193 pounds, a superb athlete. He's flown a little bit under the radar because he played a lot of quarterback at the high school level, but his receiver tape, how he can run, he's a really good prospect. He picked up his first offer, I want to say it was like 2 months ago. So he's really blown up here in recent weeks. And Blue and Gold first reported that he was going to be for the spring game next weekend. So that's huge news. So Canyon, Williams, Robinson, I think that would be an outstanding receiver class. Rankings wise, we would talk about that in a few months. Like, let's see where those guys are at their senior season with these rankings. But if you're asking me, I would be fired up about that. And there's some other receiver prospects we could talk about. I did want to mention quickly Micah Gilbert from Charlotte Christian, teammate of Irish target Bryce Young, son of Bryant Young, of course. So maybe Notre Dame could have a twofer there at Charlotte Christian. And then at Charlotte Catholic, Notre Dame already has Jack Larson committed. So, Notre Dame to Charlotte. Maybe there's a new pipeline there. But Micah Gilbert, believe that he'll probably get up to Notre Dame, I would imagine, this spring. If not, he'll definitely, I would assume he'll take an official this summer to South Bend. So those are some of the big names on the receiver board, Darren. And I think Notre Dame and Chancey Stucker are in a pretty good spot for the 24 class there.